Oh, it's hot. I mean, it's very good.
Yeah.
Very hot. Let's try a little bit of this.
A little bit of mashed potato. I'm interested to see.
I'm not trying those though. The sugar shows worldwide. I think I've said since the Contender Series, I have that it thing. I want to be bigger than Conor. I want to be a superstar, and this is how superstars are made. I go out there and beat Peter. There will not be anybody in the UFC that doesn't respect me in a sense that I'm legit.
As you know, it's UFC London Fight Week. We're all excited about the card at the O2 Arena. Part of the entourage of UFC London Fight Week is that we've announced UFC 280, taking place in Abu Dhabi in October. One of the big fights on that card is Petr Yan taking on Sugar Sean O'Malley. Sugar Sean is in town for the first time ever, so I thought I'd treat him to my favourite pie mash shop. Let's see if he does the jelly deals.
Yeah, I brought him to a pie mash shop. Here he is, Sugar Sean O'Malley. Welcome to the UK for the first time, my friend. How are you?
Doing good. It's been a long couple days, but we're here. We made it. Super last minute trip, but business calls. You gotta take those opportunities.
Absolutely. It is all business this trip, and it's a flying visit, so we thought we'd do something a little bit different, all right? As I've just said, we are in a pie mash shop. Have you ever heard of that before?
I've never heard of that before. Pie mash shop.
Okay. What type of culinary delights do you like? What type of foods do you normally go for?
Like if I'm going out to eat?
Yeah.
It's hard for me not to get a juicy burger with like way too much ranch. That's usually what I go for.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I brought you to Goddard's at Greenwich, and this is owned by a family that was established 132 years ago. These are the longest serving family of pie mash shops in the whole of London. All right, so I'm giving you a little bit of culture, a little bit of tradition, and
interesting.
I'm going to bring out some food for you in a bit, and we'll see where we go from there. All right?
I'll try it. I'll try one of everything except for those jelly somethings.
Jellied eels, yes.
Jelly eels. I might look at it, but I am not touching it with my mouth. Not a chance.
Well, to be fair, listen, I've been on this planet 40 years, my man, and I've never had jellied eels, so it might be a first for me.
Just doesn't even sound appetizing.
Okay, all right.
We'll see.
Listen, before we get to the food, let's talk fights, because the reason why you're in London is, of course, the announcement of a huge fight that is coming up at UFC 280 on Abu Dhabi, where you're taking on Petr Yan. Before I get to that, let's have a quick look back at the Pedro Munoz fight. Now that the dust has settled on all of that, how do you look back at it? How do you contemplate that particular fight and the conclusions of it?
I feel pretty much the same as I've felt about it right after the fight. I felt like I was dominating the fight. I think statistically he didn't hit me once in the face or once in the body. He landed some decent leg kicks, but I guarantee that the kicks that I checked hurt him more than the little ones he slapped with his foot on my thigh. The judges, it's crazy that they could give him that first round. So the way I look at it is I won that fight, beat a top 10 guy, and I broke him. I did not think I poked him in the eye, at least not bad enough to stop the fight. You seen Jared Cannonier in the main event take a finger straight through the eye, and he kept fighting. So I think in my mind, I beat him. I won, on to the next guy. I went to the UFC, I said, hey, I want to fight. There's no one in the top 10 that doesn't have a fight besides Petr Yan. So it made sense. Peter tweeted at me and said, hey, if you win, Pink Poodle, call me out. So I didn't get the mic, but the fight, it's happening. If people want to see it, it's going to be one of the biggest fights that night. The main draw in my eyes is going to be me versus Petr Yan.
It is amazing when you look at that card, and the card is stacking up beautifully. We've got a couple of title fights on there, but the fight that every single person is talking to me about, and it's only been 24 hours since the word came out that this was happening, is your fight.
The sugar shows worldwide. I think I've said since the Contender Series, I have that it thing. I want to be bigger than Conor. I want to be a superstar, and this is how superstars are made. I go out there and face plant Petr Yan in Abu Dhabi. I'm the biggest guy in the UFC.
Well, let's be straight. If that happens, we know what's next. You can't go backwards from that point, can you? You can't come
Right.
back down those rankings. There's only one way that you go after
Yeah.
that.
You know, I know Jose Aldo's fighting Merab soon, and Jose, respect to the legend, he wants, you know, Merab then a title shot. I go out there and beat Peter, you know, I don't mind waiting. If Jose wants to fight for the title and, you know, wants one of those guys, if he gets past Merab. So I could wait and see how that goes, but it's pointless to talk about until October 23rd, after I win. It's hard to say, but yeah, that's going to be a good night or day or whatever time we're fighting in Abu Dhabi. Never been there, so that'll be a little interesting. I'll probably go out there a couple weeks before, maybe 3, 2.5, kind of get adjusted a little bit. But yeah, my last 10 fights have been in Vegas.
Yeah.
In the UFC, I've never fought outside of Vegas, so this is going to be a little different. But I like to think of myself as a professional performer, an entertainer, and I can, as long as I'm in that cage and Dana's sitting there watching, I'll be able to perform.
You don't come across as a person that is too concerned about what others think. You concentrate on your own lane and you do your thing. But this particular fight, now that it's made and obviously fans have their say on the fight and what have you, are you happy with the idea of this being a fight that could vindicate you or to establish you as a person that others would look at and go, wow, all this talk, it is actually the real thing?
Yeah, I think if I would have went out there and beat Pedro in the way I wanted to,
that would be happening?
I think it would have happened a little bit, but even still, you know, he's on a couple fight losing streak. I go out there and beat Peter, there will not be anybody in the UFC that doesn't respect me in a sense that I'm legit. Which I don't really care. I know I'm legit. I've been training for 11 years. I haven't been training for this long to, you know, not fight the best guys in the world. I've been preparing for this for a long time. So, you know, yeah, beating Peter will get that respect from everybody. There won't be anyone that can say anything because Peter is, in my eyes, I mean, he already whooped Aljo once. He's tied he's tied 1-1 with Aljo, in my eyes. So I think, yeah, he's obviously the number one contender.
The thing from a fan's point of view, you look at the stylistic matchup between you and him, it's a sexy ass fight, man.
Yeah, it is. It is. And I think we're gonna fight multiple times. You know, I think he's 28, 29, 27. You know, the bantamweight division is the best division in the UFC. You know, if I had to predict, I think me and Peter will fight multiple times. He's not going anywhere. He's not gonna go below top 5 ever. Once I'm up there, I don't believe I'll drop down either. So I think we'll fight multiple times. It's crazy that it's happening because I've wanted this fight for a while. I've been talking to Peter for a while, the little Russian, and it's finally here. It's exciting.
I can see just by your demeanour now, there is a smile, there's a glint in your eye about this fight. Is part of that getting the opportunity to test yourself? Because at the moment you believe you know, but actually having it in the real moment, you get to find out for real.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you say I go out there and lose to Peter, I'm not gonna lose confidence. I'm not gonna be like, oh, I suck, or it's like I lost to the number one guy in the world. I'm gonna get that back someday. So I'm not too. I already know I'm as good as I am, so I don't have to go out there and beat Peter to know I'm good. I know I'm good. Losing to Peter wouldn't be the end of the train. Like I'm still going. I'm still gonna be champ. But yeah, it's such a huge opportunity. I'm just so excited I just want to get back home and train. Really, it's about like 12, 13 weeks out. I'm gonna, I like to break my camps up into like pre-camp and then like pre-camp for like 2-3 weeks, then a pre-camp, then a camp, and just like dial it in each week a little bit more.
Especially if you go into Abu Dhabi for maybe 3 weeks out, that you've got to consider that as well.
Yeah, I think I was planning on going to Abu Dhabi in a couple weeks to just do the flight once, stay at the hotel, do all that stuff just to get familiar with it. But then this last minute trip came up, so I'll probably just go out 3 weeks before the fight and stay there. But yeah, I'm ready to get back to the gym, get back to training.
What did you make of Mr. Cejudo's approach to you? You were in the middle of doing a fantastic interview with our Carolina over in Las Vegas with the BT Sport guys, and he gate crashed you, just chirping up in the background. What did you make of it all?
Looking back on it, I definitely, it caught me off guard for sure. I was in the verge of, right after that fight, I was just so emotional. Like, I put so much into that fight, and it ended like that. I didn't want to do any interviews. I didn't want to talk to anybody. Then I get this fat little dude who just chirping at me. and I handled it wrong. I should have went up and slapped him. Is what I should have done. I'm surprised UFC even lets him back there anymore. He hasn't fought in so long. He says he wants to fight Alexander. He wants to fight Aljo. He wants to fight me. He wants to fight this guy. Once he books a fight, I think people will start taking him serious. But until then, I don't know. I'm not even sure he's gonna fight. Do you think he will?
It's hard because, like you just said, there's a lot of talk. There's a testing pool to get back into, and once you get to that point, then maybe we can have a serious conversation. But it's attractive because he's a two-weight world champion there, isn't he? And the opportunity to come and play at your weight division would be attractive from a fan point of view.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's frustrating being a two-time world champion, a gold medalist, and still not having fans. I'm sure like that gotta mess with him. He's gotta, his insecurities are. I mean, he's 5'4". He's considered one of the greatest combat sports athletes of all time, and he still doesn't have a following. Like, that would suck. So I get why he's why he does what he does.
You've really embraced that side of stuff. The demographic that follows you, the fan base that follows you. Obviously, you're quite. It's not just necessarily about what you're doing inside the octagon. It's the whole package that comes with it. At what stage do you think that you became fully aware of having to have multiple layers to yourself in order to create the eyes to watch you?
I feel like I understood that early on. Back in the Contender Series, one of my first things is like, I'm gonna knock him out and then I'm gonna get on the cage and yell, "Welcome to the Sugar Show to Dana." Like, I think that was kind of like, I knew that moment would be massive.
It doesn't feel forced though. And like, for example, you're gaming like on Twitch and stuff.
Right.
It feels like it's a natural thing that you would be doing anyway. You just put your eyes on it.
Absolutely. Everything I do is because I enjoy doing it. All the YouTube stuff, the podcasts, the gaming. Everything I do is because it's fun for me and I enjoy it. And a lot of other fighters may not enjoy doing other stuff like that, so they don't have those other avenues to, gain fans and stuff. And then obviously partnering with Happy Dad and being a part of the Nelk Boys and stuff like that is massive, because those guys are huge. And I get people coming up to me all the time like, "Oh, I saw you in the Nelk Boys video," and they think I'm a boxer. So I'm really like growing outside the UFC. But I wouldn't be able to do that without UFC's platform. So super grateful to work with the UFC, and they give me great opportunities, and I just have to take advantage of those.
The interesting thing from my point of view on you is the aesthetic. People would look at you and they will automatically fall repeat. People judge books by the covers, don't they? So they'll look at you, they'll see the colourful hair, they'll see the tattoos, they go, "Oh, he's this type of guy." Yeah. But the guy that I obviously resonate with is the loving father, the family man. Yeah. And that is the thing that I look at and go, this is a young guy who's actually very, very mature for the age that he's at.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, when I had Elena, she's a year and a half now, it really changed my life. I was on a good path anyway, as far as, I was very consistent training, always booking fights, always in the gym, always training. But that was kind of before I had fame and money, and then now that I have all that, I could see how some people get carried away. So having Elena and Danny, my girl, I've been with her for like 8 years, just keeps me grounded, keeps me, like, I'm not even going to the fight Saturday tonight or this weekend. I'm flying back because I was in Miami for a few days, and then I went home for 24 hours, and then I took this flight here. So I'm getting back home as soon as possible, just because it's so hard leaving her. I mean, she doesn't know I'm leaving yet, but it's harder for me for sure.
But how much is having her keeping you grounded? How important has that been to be able to then deal with the craziness, the fame, and all those types of things that come your way?
It's been huge. I mean, I'd like to think I'm smart enough and I understand fame and all that I would be able to just do it even if I didn't have a little princess, but I don't know if I could. I'm 27 years old and I have, the friends that I have, and I'm able to go do anything. We can go travel wherever I want, and so I don't know. Having Elena's probably saved my life, and she was an accident, which was crazy. Like, she was like a blessing in disguise for sure. So I feel like there's always been like a higher power kind of looking out for me, trying to, like, I have a legacy I'm gonna be the champ. I'm gonna be the biggest fighter in the UFC, and I'm just on this path, and I had to have a little baby to help me keep on that path.
That's beautiful the way you look at that. What does she think of the pink Lamborghini?
She loves it. She loves it. She always wants to go bye-bye. No, she hasn't been able to ride in it yet, obviously, but she doesn't mind it. She'll probably have one when she turns 18.
It's a serious moment, mate. Listen, obviously now all your eyes are focused on Petr Yan, and that's the immediate thing and what you're doing at bantamweight. But you're a tall guy, you know. At some point there might be. Do you want to go 145? Do you want to go up there and have a little bit of a play up there too?
I think that makes sense. I think it. I definitely have the body type to go up to 145. I could put on muscle. I feel like 6 months I could put on, be a 145er. But I feel like once I do that, I don't want to go back to 35.
Yeah, you don't want to float between.
So I want to be champ at 35. I feel like you have to defend the belt. But who knows? Maybe opportunities happen and stuff happens. But ideally, get the belt at 135, defend it, and then move up to 45. It's so hard to say. Just fighting is the most crazy sport in the world, so it's hard to predict the future. But yeah, I'd say if I had to guess, I'd probably move up to 45 eventually.
Well, on this current division, this fight for me puts you next towards the full title. What do you make of the title fight that was made on the same card that obviously you're fighting on? Yeah,
super interesting fight. I'm excited for that fight. I don't think too many people are, but I am. Aljo versus TJ. TJ was super impressive when he came back and fought Corey. It was like really, really impressed.
It was a close fight, wasn't it?
I mean, I've rewatched it a couple of times. I think you could give that fight to Corey for sure. But for TJ to be out that long and come back not using EPO, and that was a big question mark. Like, how is he gonna do? He did 5-minute rounds very impressively. Good play, had a good pace. I wouldn't be surprised if he beat Aljo. I think TJ's, he never really lost his belt, right? Mm-hmm. I think, but Aljo's good too. I'm excited for that fight. I think it's a very interesting fight. If I had to guess, I think TJ probably gets the job done.
Wow. Listen, what a night. What a card to be involved in Abu Dhabi for UFC 280, and it'll be obviously on BT. I'm going to attempt to obviously give you your last meal before you get stuck into that 12-week, 13-week camp, mate.
Let's try it.
Let's get stuck straight in. Come on, Joanne. Here we go. Right, Sean, this is Joanne.
Hi.
Here we go. There we go. Now, Joanne, talk us through the delights. Oh my days. Talk us through these delights.
Right, this is our most traditional dish, my darling. So this is pie mash and eels.
Okay.
Very, very traditional London dish. All right, it's been going for years and years. We're the longest family. We've been going for 132.
Wow.
It comes from basically a poor man's meal from back in the day. They didn't really have a lot of meat and things like that to sort of make up the meal. So they'd have any old meat to sort of try and put in the pies and stuff to make it a meal for the gentlemen that were working on the boats and barges at the time. And then they put the eels in with it, just to sort of spruce it up a little bit.
Okay. What meat's in the pie?
Minced beef.
Okay, so we've got a bit of minced beef, some mashed potatoes.
And the eels, they're the stewed eels, they are.
The liquid on top is pea wet, yeah? Do you want to explain?
So the liquor, actually, how it got its name, it come from the stock from the eels back in the day. So there used to be the stock from the eels, like the eel juice.
Okay.
And then we would pour that into the parsley sauce and make it into a sauce to go over the pie mash.
Okay. Is there a difference between those eels and these eels?
Yes, definitely.
So what are these eels?
So these are stewed eels. They're cooked in bay leaves, garlic and peppers. And these ones are just cold on their own, and they form their own jelly as they sit in the bowl.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yeah, they do require an acquired taste.
Okay. Thank you very much, Joanne.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
Right, my man. Right, go for it. You have a little bit of a go on the pie there, my friend. Are you a pie eater at home?
Not so much. I'm not really sure how to attack this bad boy, but...
There you go.
Just gonna get right in there.
Is in America, are pies more of a sweet thing than a savoury thing?
Ooh, that's hot.
So you would go more like, say, an apple pie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh, it's hot. I mean, it's very good.
Yeah.
Very hot. Let's try a little bit of this.
A little bit of mashed potato. I'm interested to see what
I'm
you
not
think.
trying those though. Definitely doesn't taste like American food.
Okay.
It has a little different taste.
This is a new thing, content for your channel, man. You know what I mean? Cooking with Sean, man. This is what we could be doing.
I can't cook for can you?
No.
It's pathetic. I could.
But we could go to various restaurants and try culinary delights from around the world. Now listen, I'm going to do something that I've never done in my entire life. I'm not going to try the jelly just yet. We'll go with, what do you reckon? Oh my days.
I don't know.
Listen,
That's on you.
Okay, mate. I'll try.
I don't look like.
So this is a first. Ready?
Is it alive? It just jokes. Interesting. How's the texture?
It's
Or is it kind of just like another meat?
yeah, it's obviously it's fish. Can I take this out?
Yeah.
But it's thank you, mate. It's I didn't expect there to be bones in it. There was bones in that bit, so I didn't expect that bit. But the meat is beautiful, mate. Are you a fish eater or not?
Not really.
What do you reckon?
So that jelly, she said, just grows on that from the, or what did she say?
Yeah, go on, I'll try it, mate. Listen, anything for the BT Sport lads.
Whew. That's a big ass bite.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd work on something smaller.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, there's bones in that as well. There we go. We'll just go away a little bit.
There you go, just a little meat.
Bottoms up.
Not bad.
It's all right, man. Fancy go?
Probably not. not too. I'm not too hungry. I feel bad. I'm not too hungry, but it's decent. It's not my favorite. It's not the worst.
But you tried.
But I tried, exactly.
When in England, you've got to try a little bit of the culinary delights.
Yes. I'll probably like the tea a little more, I think.
But listen, Sean, thank you so much for obviously giving up a little bit of time with yourself being in England, mate. We obviously are thrilled at the announcement of the Petr Yan fight, which is coming up at UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. Go well, stay off this stuff during camp, mate.
Yep.
Obviously get yourself in tip-top condition.
That's the plan.
And we're looking forward to the sugar show, bro.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you.